Hi guys, we're back. So in the last video we were able to create a user, and as you can see I still have it on my screen. It's right there, so that's great. Create a user ID for him, when it was signed in, when it was created, blah blah blah, all this stuff that you can eventually use later in your application for other things. I should maybe point out right now that this is one of my pet peeves about Firebase, and that I don't really like too much about it, is that it doesn't really save your username, your name and last name. So when you use this, or even like a username as username, it's just always your email. So that's kind of because whenever you want to create a profile page, then later you can't really put, like, you can't use that information. So you have to do extra coding to store these users inside of a database, and then create fields in the database as first name, last name, and all that, and then attach it to this user ID, so that then you can just basically marry one thing to another. So it just creates more problems. In Okta, you didn't have to do that. It automatically takes your first name and last name and all that, because you create an account with it. So that's good, I guess. That's also a good plus for Okta that Firebase doesn't have. So I guess people are right about Okta being a little easier. All right, so now that we have a user in there, let's start working on this signing page right here, the login page, and make sure that I can actually log in right now, because right now basically it's not doing jagged split. All right, so let's go to the login page. Now the login page, let's go ahead and close this app here. So the login page is actually gonna have very similar code to the register page. So we're going to basically just copy and paste a bunch of crap in here. Let's start actually with this fields right here, so that we have access to that stuff, right? So let's go over here to the fields, and well, first, now you know what, let's just do it in the same order, that way we don't get any confusions. So let's go over here and let's grab this, basically all of this. Let's grab all of that, even the use state. Let's grab the use state too. So let's grab all of this and replace those with this. So now I have access to my use state. I still have all my stuff here, that's fine. I have access to use navigate, and I have access to the user auth, so that's good. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna grab all of this, and I'm gonna add it to my return. Let's go to custom login. So right, add that in there. And let's make a little bit more space in there. So let me make sure that we got this. So we need an email and a set email, because we're gonna be retrieving that information from these two fields right here. So we need the states to store whatever people are typing. So we need an email with a password and all that. We're gonna need an error state, because we're going to also modify this error with an error message for someone who's trying to log in when they don't have an account, for example. We're gonna need the navigate, because we are going to be telling people to navigate back to the sign up with this right here, whatever. Let's see what else we're gonna need. We're gonna need this. No, we're not gonna need the sign up user authorization. We gotta go back to the user auth context and create a login service, right? So let's put a message here. Let's put a to-do here. If you notice why it's yellow like that and not just it's because I have a colorizer for my messages. Go to my extensions video and you'll see what I mean. So to-do is going to be change to login. Change to login service. Alright, so my handle sign up is no longer going to be handle sign up. I'm going to call this one handle login, right? Is that what I have down there? Well, technically I don't have anything, I think. So I'm gonna just go ahead and add that. So I'm gonna set up an onClick function, and I'm gonna call it handle login. All right, handle login. Let's just camel case that, just so it's better. All right, handle login, and then now this one is going to say handle login, and it's going to prevent default. That's fine. It's going to set my error to whatever the new error is, and then this is going to call this login right here. Is going to be called here. So I'm going to do that. Await for login service. So my login is still going to be using, it's going to still use email and password states, because in order to log in, I have to tell Firebase to log me in with some email and some password. So I have to still pass my login for email and password here. But my navigate is going to navigate me to the profile page. Once I'm logged in, I wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to go to the profile page after I actually log in. So that's fine. If not, then I want to see an error message on my screen. And then here I have to make that also conditional to my error. So I'm gonna bring that and put that in there. So now this shows me an error when there is one. And then here I have to still bring in the state and the state change. So I'm gonna bring that in there, and for the password, I'm gonna bring the password in there so that it changes my password my password state value, and it puts it in my state for the password. And the login is fine. This is all fine. This is sending me to register. This is sending me to register without. This is a different one, right? This is not this type of navigation. This one sends me to a profile if I'm logged in, though this one sends me to register when I'm not logged in and I just want to click on here. Okay, these are two different types of navigation. All right, so I'm gonna save this, and just to make sure that yeah, there you go, it's working, right? Now, I don't want to hit this, because if I hit this, it's going to sign me up. And it's going to throw an error too. It's going to say that, hey, you already signed up, because I'm technically using this for sign up. So you see, email is already in use. I can sign. I'm using this button basically right now to fire the sign up function, the sign up service. So that doesn't work. I'm not trying to get this form to sign me up. I'm trying to get it to log me in. So now I gotta go to the user content, and then in the user context here, I gotta create, what is it, right here, I gotta create a new method, a new service for logging person in. So I'm going to basically copy this, because it's going to be pretty similar, and I'm gonna call it login. It's still gonna use an email password as arguments, but here, instead of create blah blah blah, is going to say sign in with email and password, right? And it's still going to be using the auth and the email and the password, because it needs to know which configurations, which account is going to sign the person in, and with what email and with what password. But this is not available to us yet. We have to make sure that we pass it to the provider, so we're going to pass it to the provider. All right, so that is passed to the provider. Make sure that everything is fine. All right, cool. Sign it up. Now we got to go back to the login again, and now that is available to us, we have to call it in here. From the user auth, we're gonna call the login, and now that can go away. And then here we're gonna use the login instead of the sign up. And we're gonna close that out. I'm gonna hit save, go back to here, and now we're gonna test it out. We are still signed on in here. Just make sure. Yeah, still signed on. So let's first try and sign on with a user that is not signed on, right? So let's use El Silva MMA2. 2 and log in, and it says error auth user not found. All right, so the user is not found, so that's cool. Let's use a different password. Let's add a 1 there, and then it says nope, wrong password. So now let's take that out, and now this looks okay. Let's log in, and bam, it logged me in, and I am in the profile page. So it did what it was supposed to do. It did the login, right? So now we need to be able to log out. So we need to work on this log out function right here, and then eventually we're gonna work on handling the user account and making sure that we get information and all that stuff. So let's work on the log out first. All right, so this was pretty much all that there was to it as far as login, and I'm gonna keep this modular, so I'm gonna cut it right here, and then we'll do the login on the next video. All right, guys, see you in the next one.